we will wait just a minute. Hey, Carrie. Waiting, I decided that I really wanted to do something. I'm gonna pull an earth card for us. Should you be doing this clear? Yeah, I think this clear is okay for you, Carrie. I don't think anything but positive stuff could come out of this for you. Part of your sickness could be elemental imbalance also, so I think you're good to go. So I have these cards that I love so much. The Wild Unknown Animal Spirit cards. And as I was like prepping for this call, I was like, oh, we need to pull a card from that deck. And I have two decks that actually have elemental association. So one is the Animal Spirit deck. This one's amazing. If you guys don't have this one, I love it so much. The Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck. And then there's also these cards, the Threads of Fate. The Animal Spirit deck you can get in my Amazon shop. The Threads of Fate is a private company. It's a private seller. They may be on Amazon now. We should actually probably check. I love them both so much. I'm gonna actually pull one from both of these. This one's gonna be a little trickier though, I think. I'm just gonna test which one of these we do. Okay, cool. Hey, hey, hey. So I'm gonna do cards from both of these decks. I'm gonna pull an Earth card from the Animal Spirit deck. Just to set the tone for what we need to know and what we need to hold as we're moving through this clearing today. It's not popping out. Oh, there it is. Buffalo. Okay, so Buffalo is our Earth card. I was like, if we get Earthworm, I'm gonna laugh. Okay, so Buffalo is our Earth card. Get grounded yet heavenly, practical yet spiritual. The hooves of the mighty buffalo are grounded in the earth, yet its heart and mind rise towards heaven. The buffalo sees challenge, hardship, or a bump in the road as an opportunity for upliftment. Therefore, the buffalo does not fear death, illness, or misfortune. Its gentle eyes look to the road ahead, trusting every turn. May we all experience this elusive yet life-changing bliss from time to time. And may we allow this card to remind us that life is a precious gift. When in balance, the buffalo is trusting and pure presence. When out of balance, the buffalo is restless and lacks gratitude. So, and to bring into balance, it calls for prayer. So hold that. That may be relevant as we move through this clear for you today, or as we move through the meditation today. So you can definitely hold that. And then I'm going to read the card from the Threads of Fate deck, which I just tested into which one of the Earth cards from there. And the card that came up was Ask Body. Aren't these cards gorgeous? Look at that gold foil. Ask Body. This card says, in spiritual work, the body is often overlooked. Of course, right? Ask Body, as we're doing brain to body clearing. There is a tendency to go higher rather than go deeper. This card encourages you to enter into a dialogue with your body. Our physical body holds all of our experiences, our heart, mind, and spirit. You guys, I've never pulled this card before I read it. I'm just laughing. Our physical body holds all of our experiences, our heart, mind, and spirit. It also has inherited significant experiences and traumas that have been passed on in our lineage. To dialogue with the body is to get to the root of the matter where our minds can only guess. And it says exercise, sit or lie comfortably, bringing your attention to your breath. Let your body relax and clear your mind. And then imagine dropping into your body. Well, we're going to do this in the meditation, so I'm actually not going to keep reading that part. But it says deepening the relationship with one's body will always be beneficial. It will also provide a safe space where you can retreat to when you need assistance. So there's a jaguar on the card. The jaguar is an ally in working with the unknown and reclaiming our power. It is a solitary animal, so they are a perfect ally for doing body work. When diving into our physical self, there is a sense of being alone. And as no person lives in your body and no one else has lived the experiences that are held within it. When things arise in our lives, we can find healers, teachers, gurus, and friends who can all hold space for us. But to go inside our body is not only more powerful, it is more intimate, for it is your wisdom and yours alone. For many, this can be a scary experience. The journey is illuminating, but can also shake things up that need to be looked at, creating a raw energy within us. Call upon the spirit of Jaguar as an ally to dive deeper within yourself, and especially when you fear opening up and meeting the unknown within you. And then there's also ash trees on this card, which is kind of difficult to see. It's there in the background. The ash tree can support us in connecting to all the cells and experiences held in our bodies. The ash is known for how deeply it roots into the earth, which makes it an amazing ally in reaching into our bodies for wisdom. Call upon ash as an ally to explore the past, present, and future within your body. It holds the things we remember and many things we don't. Our past lives also manifest in our current body. Ash can teach us how to tap into all the energies held within our physical self and release them if they no longer serve us, or it can help us truly embody the lessons they hold. And then hematite. Hematite is a very grounding and protective stone. So the stone associated with this card is hematite. It is especially useful for body work in the way that it brings the animal and intuitive energies into the body so that they can physically manifest. So many spiritually minded people struggle with integration and staying connected with their body. Hematite calls you back into yourself. When doing body journey work, it creates a container for seamless integration with the wisdom you return with. Ask hematite to support you in remaining grounded within your body as you expand within your spiritual practice. Yes, I will post the cards in the Telegram chat. Okay, so as you're moving into this earth clearing today, based upon the cards, and obviously if some other animal comes to you, amazing, but you can definitely call on medicine of buffalo or jaguar as we're moving into the meditation portion of this clearing. So without further ado, let's do that. So take a deep breath, get yourself into a place where you can move into a meditative state. You don't need to be laying down, you can be sitting, but just getting comfortable, taking a few deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Finding rhythm in your breathing, just allowing it to be your own. And beginning now to tap into your energy. I'm calling back that energy from anywhere where you've put it out today. Calling it all back into your auric field, all back into your physical body. Knowing that this time, this moment is just for you. Setting intention to receive all the benefits of this earth clearing today. And as you're pulling back your energy through observation and non-judgment, acknowledging and seeing and witnessing how you're feeling in this moment. And again, really paying attention to how you feel and making sure that the feelings that you're identifying are your feelings and not the feelings of the collective. At this time, it's easy to mistake the feelings of the collective for your own. So really setting the intention to acknowledge your own personal feelings and sitting with that feeling for a moment, acknowledging and witnessing it. Again, there's no wrongs or rights. Whatever you're feeling in this moment is just simply that, what you're feeling. Remembering that feeling and emotion is pathology. And asking at this time for any of this pathology that's no longer serving you, that's hindering you, that's holding you back from your infinite potential, that's blocking your path to self-mastery, be cleared completely and fully today. Anything that's no longer serving your highest and best good, be cleared today. And taking a moment to set your personal intention for this clearing. You received some really amazing information from Michelle on the earth element. You're probably already feeling resonance in some of the areas. So setting a personal intention for this clearing today, just taking a few minutes, a few moments to do that now. Now bringing your mind's eye to a visualization that represents the earth element for you. Finding a symbol to rest upon. It may be the alchemical symbol for earth. It may be our planet. It may be a tree. It may be a rock. Really just tapping in right now and finding a symbol of the earth element that you can anchor into your field. It may be a color, a beautiful, beautiful palette of earth, the earth tones, the greens, the browns. And now filling your field with that color, allowing that color to wash over you, filling your field with that alchemical symbol or that symbol of the earth element. And now setting the intention to tap into all of the parts inside of you where that earth element resides. In all bodies, in your mental body, in your spiritual body, in your physical body, in your energetic body, in your emotional body, calling on and lighting up and activating all the places inside your 5 bodies where this element resides. Calling upon the parts of you right now that need to feel supported. Calling upon the parts of you right now that need to feel nourished. The parts of you that need to feel centered and stable. The parts of you that desire mental clarity. The parts of you that long to be understood. Through observation, see how this earth element is activated in your body, how it shows up, where you're feeling it. And now as I say these next statements, tapping into and feeling if these statements resonate with you. Who will give me the support I need? How can I get nourished? How can I become centered and stable? How can I get what I want from the world? How can I feel I belong? Who will really understand me? Tapping into our solar plexus chakra now, where the earth element resides. The 3rd chakra, the solar plexus chakra, is the chakra of the earth element. Tapping in and calling on the power of your solar plexus to support this clearing today. Setting the intention that through integrity, intention, clear thought, and devotion, that this clear will block anything and everything that is in the way of us cultivating true purpose today. Take a few more deep breaths. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Already clearing. Okay. So, earth element. Earth element, earth element. A lot of this feeling in the collective right now, right? A lot of doubt. We have a lot of people that are stuck in the heavy, that are stuck in the heaviness and that feeling of heaviness in the collective right now. A lot of comfort eating taking place, I think, in the collective right now, which is definitely a response to earth imbalance. And, you know, there's this other piece of this that, you know, I'm even seeing showing up in the inner alchemy container, and it's this neediness, right? Needing to be understood, needing to be supported, needing to feel nourished, this neediness, right? And so of course it's up in the collective, and of course it's up in the field, you know? And so, and all of that creates a lack of stability, and it's how this element really becomes out of balance. And, you know, some of the responses that we have are to like become gripped in paralyzed will, right? Not being able to move at all, not being able to move forward. We become over dependent upon safety and stability. Security becomes a big issue when this element is out of balance. And so, yeah, I think, we're experiencing a lot of this. It's part of why, I don't know if you guys saw my post that I did yesterday, but it's part of why, like, you're seeing so many people throw around, like, just have empathy, or this person doesn't have enough empathy, or this person, you have to have empathy, you have to have compassion for fellow humans. It's like empathy or lack of and sympathy or lack of are elemental imbalances, right? Again, remember, it's all pathology, whether you are being empathic or empathetic, whether you're being empathetic or not, or lacking empathy, it's all pathology, right? So obviously the goal is here that we want to get into balance. So I am going to test into which earth element emotions need to be cleared for the Inner Alchemy Collective. Okay, so how many elements do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 5. Okay. All right. And the first one is disconnection. Second one is disappointment. Third one is heavy, being stuck in the heavy, right? Brooding. I'm gonna try to put this little picture up. Oh, I gotta get these charts done today. I'm gonna put this little picture up. So if this is the knee, there we go. Okay. Can you guys see me again? Send me some hearts if you can see me again. Come back, come back. Damn Bali internet. We'll wait just a few more minutes. No, not a few more minutes. We'll wait a minute for everyone to get back. I think we had 10 on before. Last thing you heard was something about heaviness. Okay, so I'll just let you guys know. So the emotions are disconnection, disappointment, heaviness, brooding, and envy. So those are the 5 emotions that we're going to be clearing. And so we're moving, I just had moved into disconnection. So, and it's going to be stomach 36. So I can't demonstrate today. So I was going to show you. Here's the chart. So this is the outside of the leg, right? And you're going to put a hand right underneath your kneecap. And so it's going to be right underneath your pinky finger. And you'll feel a kind of a flat little spot, a dent there, and it's going to be right side. So that's where we're going to be rubbing for disconnection. And I'm gonna do my regular points because I cannot reach my feet or my legs. So if you're in the same boat as me, you can rub just underneath the stomach, underneath the left rib, or underneath both the right and the left rib for stomach 36. And so disconnection is having to do with, so being disconnected is causing lack of mental clarity. And we're responding to that by feeling needy, which is interesting, right? We're disconnected because we lack mental clarity, then that leads us to feeling needy. And then ultimately we're asking ourselves, how can I become centered and stable? So there's lots of ways to look at these. It's like we may be feeling needy, and then that causes us to lack mental clarity, and so then we become disconnected. Ultimately, we ask ourselves, how can I become centered and stable? And just continue to rub these points as we're breaking this down. But the other way that can go is that we're disconnected, and that's causing lack of mental clarity, and then it's making us feel needy, right? But ultimately, this entire combination is causing us to ask ourselves, how can I become centered and stable? Okay. Successfully cleared disconnection, any saboteurs, any deception. Okay, now moving into disappointment. Causing issues with being understood. And leading to comfort eating. And ultimately triggering issues of how can I feel I belong. So none of this happening inside the container right now, right? Disappointed in myself. I feel like I'm not being understood. So I'm comfort eating, and now I don't feel like I belong. So this is 1,000,000% up in the container right now, right? So it may not be you, but it's definitely in the container. So let's just clear this shit out. It's gonna be spleen 3. So this is underneath the knuckle bone of the big toe. So it's gonna be on the inside of the foot, underneath that knuckle bone, like underneath where you would have a bunion if you have one like me. And we're gonna do left side. I definitely comfort ate last night. I had a momentary lapse of sanity last evening. I was feeling really sorry for myself because I found out that I'm not gonna be able to do Pilates for like 2 or 3 weeks, and I was like, totally had a like, I just got in my groove. Everything was going right. Like, why does this happen to me? And so I ate cookies. Horrible, I tell you. I'm actually really excited for the gluten-free portion of this program starting tomorrow because it's something that I really need to get back to being consistent in. So I'm super excited for that. Spleen 3 is underneath the knuckle bone of the big toe. So it's on the side of the foot, on the inside of the side of the foot. So if you just go down the side of the foot, right underneath the knuckle bone, that's where spleen 3 is. Okay, have we successfully cleared disappointment, any saboteurs, any deception? Cool, so this is heavy. So this is that feeling of like being stuck in the heavy. It's the heaviness feeling that's everywhere in the collective right now, right? That's exactly what this is. And so the issues that are happening here are, it's issues getting nourished. getting nourished or feeling nourished. And we're responding to that by feeling stuck in the heavy. And it's ultimately having us question, how can I get nourished? You know, this is a big thing right now, right? Because the ways that we nourish ourselves a lot of times are through human interaction, right? And I feel like probably a lot of us right now are feeling that lack of nourishment because we're isolated. We're not able to go do the things that we typically do to nourish ourselves. And so we're having to get creative and find, you know, new and different ways of nourishing ourselves. So, and all of that, like feeling like we have a lack of nourishment, ultimately questioning, how can I get nourished? Like, it's just that heavy feeling. It's creating a feeling of heaviness. This is also going to be stomach 36. So, and it's going to be right side. So you're going to be going to that place I showed you on the first one, which is a hand length underneath the kneecap, right? Clearing out the heavy. This is a big one, you guys, because this is part of why people are shaming each other and why everything's just feeling so right now, right? It's this heaviness. It's this feeling like we're not being nourished, feeling like we can't get nourished. So clearing this out, clearing this pathology out of this container is going to be huge for moving forward, especially when it comes to the food stuff, right? Because when you actually think about this, okay, we're talking about emotional pathology here. But is this spilling over into the physical component of this program where when we're talking about the actual eating and actual nourishing ourselves? Yes, right? So even though this is probably just emotional shit that we're feeling around the heaviness of the collective, moving into this new way of nourishing ourselves physically, it's feeling heavy. We feel stuck. We feel stuck in the heaviness of it, right? And it's like, oh, does that actually even have anything to do with this food plan? Or is that the collective feeling of heaviness in the field because we're not able to nourish ourselves spiritually, emotionally, energetically the way that we would like, right? So let's see how amazing it is when this shit clears out. Okay, I'm just gonna hit that point one more time, stomach 36. We successfully cleared the heavy, any saboteurs, any deception. Okay, so moving into the brooding. These are some good ones, you guys. I actually expected it to be more around like neediness, worry, like that's what I thought was gonna come, doubt. I thought that's what was gonna come up in this clearing. So I think it's really interesting that we've got this. But I mean, it makes sense, right? We're completely disconnected. We're feeling completely heavy right now. You know, obviously this disappointment thing was just big in the container anyway, so I'm actually not surprised at all that that came up. Okay, so brooding. The main issue associated with brooding is feeling centered and stable. And our response to that is lack of stability. And the question we're ultimately asking ourselves, how can I feel I belong again? You know, I just want to look up the etymology of this word actually, because I feel like there's something there for us. Brooding is dwells moodily, but it actually comes from hovering, persistently overhanging. It's also an action of incubating. meditate long and anxiously. Interesting. So that one, to meditate long and anxiously, had to do with the notion of nursing one's anger or resentment, brooding. So like, think about tapping into all of those descriptions and how that feels for you, right? All of that creating issues around feeling centered and stable. Ultimately, we're feeling like we have a lack of stability, but the primary question that's creating is, how can I feel I belong? And when we don't feel centered and we don't feel stable, it's difficult to feel like we can fit in with the collective, like we can fit in with the world, right? We can't. How do we belong when our world is falling apart? It's interesting, this post that I wrote yesterday, I don't know if you guys read it, but I'm doing a follow-up post to it today around bonding through thriving, because one of the things that is happening in the collective right now is we're moving into a very human nature behavior, which is to bond through the struggle. And so, part of this, like, feeling of lack of stability, not feeling centered and stable, brooding, being in this place where we're nursing our anger or resentment. Like, this is what's happening in the collective right now, right? And at some level, it's like the collective wants you to do this to belong. It wants you to be brooding. It wants you to be nursing your anger and resentment. It wants you to feel uncentered and unstable. It wants you to have a lack of stability. That is very much what's up in the collective right now. Because to belong, we all need to be in the same boat, right? So I think this is going to be a really, really powerful clear to get rid of this. This is spleen 3, so we're going to be left side. So again, we're going underneath the knuckle bone of the big toe on the left side. Oh, I can't do that one. So I'm going to go to the spleen point on the back, which is in between. That one's super sore too. It's in between the bottom rib and the rib right above that towards the back. You'll feel a sore point. Or if you're me, you just touch your back and the whole entire thing feels sore. I'm gonna just rub gently, but I could already feel it clearing out. This is huge right now. I mean, you just cannot make this shit up. These clears are so next level. I love it. Clearing out brooding. How can I feel I belong? This may be some stuff that comes up for you this week, because as you're clearing out all of this stuff and as you're not playing into the collective pathology of the world right now, you may get triggered. You may get triggered around feeling like you belong. You may get triggered around, because this has come up twice now, right? In this clearing session. How can I feel I belong? When I clear out my pathology and I'm not buying into the collective pathology, am I alienating myself from the tribe, right? Well, no, because you're creating a new tribe of highly conscious, emotionally conditioned beings, right? But it's important, and it's something that's going to be up, I'm sure. Okay, we successfully cleared brooding. Yes, any saboteurs, any deception. All right, so now moving on to envy. So envy is... This is causing issues of feeling centered and stable. And creating a lack of stability. Ultimately making us ask ourselves, how can I feel I belong? Do you sense a theme? Not even sense. Do you see a theme? Okay, so envy. This is an interesting one. This is something else that I completely feel in the field right now. And it's not necessarily, not so much in this field, though I'm sure it's here, right? I'm sure it's here. I'm sure there's some envy directed at the people that are doing really amazing with the food plans, really, you know, really seem to be like getting everything. There's probably some envy there, right? Envy can also be rivalry though, right? And it's really closely tied to jealousy. This is something that I'm seeing so much in the field right now. There is envy and jealousy being thrown all over the place, from the people that feel like they don't have their shit together towards the people that they perceive to have their shit together. But in times of chaos, in times of upheaval, this is one of the emotion of envy, very similarly to the emotion of greed, is a human construct that is designed to control us, right? It is like putting us in a place where we envy others is such an easy way to get us under control. And so I'm not surprised that it came up here. And so I think this one really feels like a place of self-reflection for each one of you to really look at where and how is this showing up in your life? Where and how is envy showing up in your life? We're gonna be stomach 36 again, and it's gonna be right side. Envy and jealousy absolutely creates feelings of being uncentered and unstable. It creates a lack of stability because you're projecting everything outside of yourself, right? And so this is a call to call everything back in. And ultimately it is about how, it's about feeling, how do I feel I belong? So that's the big theme here at the earth level for us. 3 of our 5 emotions. How can I feel I belong? So as you're moving out of this clear today, and moving into your journaling exercises and your kind of deep dive and integration activities for this clear, 1, get yourself out in nature, connect with the earth. Connect with the earth. Figure out what your earth ritual is going to be, what your ritual is going to be, that you're going to be building upon your fire ritual. So continue to do the fire ritual and now add an earth component on top of that. But get out into nature, even if it's just walking outside into your backyard. Put your physical body into contact, your skin into contact with the earth, with the planet. Connect with that element. Lack of not feeling centered and stable and lack of stability, it has a lot to do with grounding, and both of those installments came up twice, right? So making sure that you're grounding. But the deep dive journaling here is on how can I feel I belong? And in one sense, it's how can I feel I belong because I don't feel centered and stable, and I have a lack of stability because of it. So two of the 3 were centered around feeling centered and stable and having a lack of stability. The interesting thing there is that on our first installment of disconnection, the question was, how can I become centered and stable? So we have our how can I feel I belong to also tying into how can I become centered and stable, and 2 of the how can I feel I belong installments having to do with being centered and stable and lack of stability, right? And then just the other one that I think is probably secondary to those 2 things, which seems to be the big theme here in this clear, is being understood, right? The disappointment, the being understood leading to comfort eating, and then how can I feel I belong, having to do with those 2 things. But so to reflect on how can I feel I belong and how can I become centered and stable? Or how can I feel centered and stable? How can I feel I belong? How can I become centered and stable? Or how can I feel centered and stable? So those are the 2 things to journal on for this clear for integration. What else do I want to leave you with? Ooh. how long will it take for the energy and emotions and conditions from all this clearing to release through the collective system? We've got 3 days on this one. Okay, well, do your integration activities. I will post the pictures of the cards in the channel so you guys can have those. Have an amazing rest of your day, morning, evening, wherever you are in the world as you're watching this live stream or you're watching the replay. I love you all. Keep it up. I'm excited to see how things move and transform with the removal of gluten. For those of you that feel like you might struggle with the removal of gluten, I will tell you the thing that has helped me the very most with that, like the sugar, is doing the potato juice in the morning. Raw potato juice on an empty stomach, nothing else for an hour. So if you do start to struggle with sugar cravings from removal of gluten, that is definitely a thing to do. So thank you for being patient with me while my back was healing. And I think that's it. I'll see you guys in the chat. Mwah! Love you guys.